Welcome everyone to the IoT Leadership Session at reInvent 2020. My name is Dirk Didascalou and I am the VP of IoT at Amazon Web Services. I grew up in the mobile industry for the first 20 years of my career, including a company called Nokia, building billions of phones connecting people. Now, here at AWS, my teams and I are building services and software to connect billions of things that can sense the environment in a way you never could before and make sense of that data. During the past 5 years or so, I've seen IoT make a significant impact on our customers as they undergo digital transformation to be data-driven and move at the speed of software. And in the next hour or so, I'd like to share with you some stories, how our customers connect their assets today, and how we help them transform tomorrow with the latest developments and offerings of AWS IoT. At AWS, we start typically all our customer engagements for IoT with a simple question. If you knew the state of everything, and you could reason on top of that data, what problems would you solve? And it is our mission at AWS to make sure that you can know the state of all your devices and assets, and that you can reason on top of that data so that you can truly solve your business problems. And our customers solving many problems and transforming literally every industry around the world. Like Vizio, who connects millions of TVs with AWS IoT and Amazon Alexa. Or Comcast, which uses AWS IoT to build home security solutions at scale. Or Deutsche Bahn, the German train operator that gathers new insights about their trains with AWS every day. And LG Electronics, which relaunched its IoT platform and saves 80% in development costs with AWS IoT. Or Module and ProGlove, which create IoT-based products to enhance worker safety. And the explosive growth in IoT use cases and the sheer number and diversity of devices out there has been phenomenal. These are just a few examples of how AWS IoT is helping a lot of customers solve their business problems. But in principle, customers do two things with IoT. They become more efficient in what they can do today, lowering their cost, helping their bottom line, and they can build completely new services and products, which drives the business, increasing the top line. And I explicitly use the word "and," since this is what AWS IoT does for our customers. It leads to greater operational efficiency and revenue growth. So how does it work? In essence, you need 3 different types of services and software. First, IoT device software to build devices that operate at the edge. Second, connectivity and control services to connect and manage and secure these devices at scale from the cloud. And then third, analytics and MI services that make sense of IoT data and take actions to solve business problems. But this is not your classical layered software architecture, but rather a circle where devices collect data at the edge with software, which is then transported and routed to the cloud with the help of connectivity and control services, where analytics and ML and AI services process the data to extract the relevant business insight, which in turn inform decisions and control devices' behavior at the edge again, all with the goal to have better outcome for your operations and businesses. And for each of these 3 areas, AWS IoT provides our customers with the right services. Let's start at the edge with devices. This is about how can I build devices and software that operate at the edge in consultation with the cloud. To support any IoT use case, the AWS offering covers the full diversity from the smallest sensors over gateways and industrial PCs to specialized equipment up to dedicated AWS infrastructure at your premises. For the smallest devices, we have FreeRTOS, which is the #1 operating system for microcontrollers that allows you to easily build small, low-power edge devices that connect to AWS IoT. For more powerful devices like Gateway, AWS IoT Greengrass, which is a software runtime that extends AWS to the edge devices, so they can then act locally on the data they generate, while still using the cloud for management, analytics, and storage. Or specialized appliances, like AWS Snowball Edge, which is petabyte-scale data transport with onboard storage and compute capabilities. It's hardened and suitable for ruggedized environments like, for example, in factories. And for the significant workloads, AWS Outpost. Run AWS infrastructure and services on premises for a truly consistent hybrid experience. And if you're interested in more details around the edge and how AWS powers edge to cloud applications, please tune in to tomorrow's Edge Leadership session with Bill Vass. For the second area, connectivity and control, which is all about how can I connect, manage, and secure my devices and fleets at scale, we start with AWS IoT Core, a managed cloud service that lets you connect devices easily, securely, and interact with the cloud applications and other devices at scale. Or AWS IoT Device Management, which helps customers register, organize, and remotely manage their connected devices and monitor fleet health. Or IoT Device Defender, which continuously audits IoT configuration to ensure they do not deviate from security best practices, and it detects anomalous device behavior. Amazon Kinesis easily collect, process, and analyze video and data streams in real time. And finally, for analytics and ML and AI, which looks at how can I make sense of my data and take actions to solve my business problems. First, IoT Analytics, which allows customers to ingest large amounts of IoT data, enrich it, and run ETL queries or machine learning models on it. Or IoT Sitewise, our industrial service which collects data from the plant floor, structures and labels the data, and generates real-time KPIs and metrics to make better data-driven decisions. Or IoT Events, which allows you and customers to continuously monitor data from their equipment and fleets of devices for changes in operations and trigger the appropriate response when events occur. And for machine learning, our signature Amazon SageMaker service, a fully managed service that provides every developer and data scientists with the ability to build, train, and deploy machine learning models quickly. And then, with the help of IoT Greengrass, which we talked about in the device section, deploy those models back to the edge for local machine learning inferencing in action. Now, you have seen the use cases and the AWS IoT services that enable them. How do you get to your applications and business outcomes? You can build yourself with the AWS services I just mentioned. We have a variety of documentation, getting starting guides, and other accelerators to help customers build on their own and expand their in-house skills. In addition, we have professional services that can support our customers with business case analysis, proof of concepts, and ultimately hasten their deployments. Or you can engage AWS partners to build on your behalf or provide specific solutions to address your specific challenges. That gives you a highly customized experience, get domain expertise from our partners, and accelerated deployments as well. Or maybe you want to deploy ready-made solutions directly. We have IoT solutions directly from AWS, as well as our partners to help you quickly get started addressing the most common IoT use cases across industries. Let's look at our partner network a little bit. At reInvent last year, we launched the Edge to Outcome partner value chain to address the complexities of IoT with a distributed set of partners spanning the edge, our connectivity, to actual applications and solutions for your specific use case. Additionally, we have 4 mechanisms to accelerate customer outcomes. First, silicon acceleration that is driven by our silicon partners so that our customers can build connected products faster. In that same realm, the device qualification program builds an edge hardware partner community with all types of IoT devices ready to use and purchase. Then we have AWS IoT practices delivered by our global system integrators and local system integrators to increase delivery capability. And finally, 4, we have IoT solutions, which are domain-specific partner offerings that deliver business outcome for our customers. And the AWS Partner Competency Program has vetted, validated, and verified that our IoT partners have demonstrated success in providing specialized edge-to-outcome IoT solutions. As you can see, we have hundreds of partners spanning the edge, from silicon vendors, OEMs, ODMs, and contract manufacturers, or connectivity, including gateway suppliers and network carriers, to solution space, including the independent software vendors who provide their own applications based on their domain knowledge, as well as regional global system integrators that build all types of application and solutions with and for our customers. Our network of APN partners benefits all of our customers, regardless of their industry and use case, and this network is growing all the time. And once a partner device went through the device qualification program I mentioned earlier, it gets listed in the AWS Partner Device Catalog that helps you discover qualified hardware that works with AWS services, so you never have to worry if your selected hardware actually will work with AWS IoT. You can find hardware that works with AWS, including development kits and embedded systems to build new devices, as well as off-the-shelf devices such as gateways, industry servers, sensors, and cameras for immediate IoT project integration. All devices listed in the Partner Device Catalog are also available for purchase from our partners to get you started quickly. With hundreds of these devices and more being qualified all the time, the Device Catalog helps you build and deliver successful IoT solutions faster. And speaking about solutions, we have IoT solutions from AWS as well as our partners to help you quickly get started solving for your common IoT use cases. These solutions span verticals such as industrial, connected home, connected vehicles, and many more. The AWS solutions help you build faster with CloudFormation templates, reference architectures, GitHub repositories, and deployment guides. The partner solutions are built on top of AWS, and they are ready to use from the AWS Solutions Library and the AWS Marketplace with hundreds of offerings for IoT. Accelerate your time to value, leveraging the expertise of APN partners and the pre-built solutions. At awsamazon.com/IoT/solutions, we created a space for customers to browse all AWS and partner IoT solutions in a single place to make it even easier for you to get started in building solutions quickly. We have also a dedicated AWS for Industrial initiative at aws.amazon.com/industrial. So, where are we today? How do our customers connect? Today, AWS IoT has tens of thousands of monthly active customers across the globe. More than 90% of Fortune 100 companies and the majority of Fortune 500 companies utilizes the AWS partner solutions and services. AWS IoT Core alone handles more than 500 million active, unique external endpoints every month, which send more than 500 billion payload messages monthly. And we have more than 300 solutions across the IoT Solutions Repository and AWS Marketplace. With over 500,000 qualified partner devices in our device catalog, which is steadily growing. And according to the Eclipse Foundation, FreeRTOS is the leading embedded real-time operating system with 35% market segment share, which is more than 4 times compared to the next. But we want to make connecting your devices and assets even easier. Once specializes in providing managed connectivity services for low bandwidth IoT applications, for constrained devices such as asset trackers and smart meters. Once is a strategic partner of Deutsche Telekom, as well as an AWS Advanced Technology partner. Their offering includes an IoT flat rate SIM plus an IoT connectivity suite. Their SIM as an identity onboarding services maps the identities of individual IoT devices using their SIM cards. It allows Once customers to fully automate device onboarding to AWS IoT Core for all IoT devices using a Once SIM. Simply order the number of SIMs you need to start your IoT project from Once and execute the CloudFormation template from the Once connectivity suite to set up resources in AWS accounts. Once customers receive their SIMs, they can insert that SIM into the device, running the Once Blueprint SDK, which automatically connects to AWS IoT in the cloud. It's that simple. And there's more. Once is offering free IoT connectivity plans for a period of 12 months for low data consumption IoT applications exclusively on the AWS Marketplace. This service offer includes global connectivity through Tier 1 global networks from, for example, Deutsche Telekom. Up to 100 free SIM cards, free of charge for 12 months for up to 50 megabyte of data volume each. And you can upgrade to Once flat rate pricing at any time. Get your SIM exclusively at the AWS Marketplace at the link shown on the slide. And once you connect your IoT devices, you need to put them in good use. Lenovo is the #1 PC maker and leading OEM for technology solutions. Beyond consumer, Lenovo is one of the key players in the commercial and enterprise space. Lenovo has selected AWS as its partner for their new commercial IoT division, a division focusing on bringing scalable IoT solutions to enterprises to enable smarter stores and smarter workplaces, recently branded as Think IoT under Lenovo's broader Think portfolio. Think IoT will be cross-vertical, including retail, commercial real estate, smart buildings, and others. The initial focus is on getting people back to work through a COVID-19 focused campaign. Their use cases today vary from touchless access control, employee and visitor tracking to smart shelf management, energy efficiency, and public safety. With customers in more than 180 markets and expertise supporting more than 125 million devices, Lenovo provides leading solution monitoring and management to keep all Think IoT back-to-work solutions running for customers. According to the World Food Programme, globally about 1/3 of the food we produce each year is lost or wasted, costing the global economy nearly $1 trillion annually. Carrier is a global leader in building and refrigeration solutions. Carrier monitors more than 15 million cold chain products annually, and about $9 billion worth of goods are transported via ocean daily in Carrier's refrigerated containers known as reefers. Carrier and AWS collaborate to develop Lynx, a digital platform to optimize cold chain operations for perishable foods and critical medications. It's very important these days. Lynx unifies the highly fragmented cold chain to reduce food spoilage, support end-to-end visibility, and increase efficiency throughout the various stages of refrigerated storage and transportation. It's built on AWS IoT to manage temperature-controlled transport and storage of perishable at scale. Overall, on time, on temperature food reduces waste with low cargo spoilage. It lowers logistic costs for the highest equipment, uptime, and resilience. A really great use case for IoT. Particularly with industrial scenarios, however, and the many associated brownfield and specialized applications, many customers prefer to have ready-made solutions that they can buy to solve their problems. One of the global leaders in the industrial IoT space, Hitachi, with its Lumada industrial solution platform, is a leader in Gartner's 2020 IIoT Magic Quadrant, and it expands the strategic collaboration with AWS. Hitachi Vantara Lumada solutions detect, collect, and organize data, then run data analytics for customers in manufacturing, transportation, and energy that manage industrial operations such as plant floors, plow networks, train systems, and even mining sites. It can be deployed with AWS IoT services to deliver advanced digital solutions for customers to reduce energy cost or detect and fix equipment issues faster, to spot inefficiencies in manufacturing lines more accurately, and improve product quality and production output. The partnership expands across manufacturing, transportation, and energy verticals. For Hitachi, this means they can focus even more on developing domain-specific functions and outcome-focused value for their customers, while leveraging proven AWS infrastructure capabilities for the scalability, fault tolerance, and ease of maintenance that they are known for. The first example is the Lumada Manufacturing Insights software, now available on AWS and leveraging AWS IoT native services. Powering transformation isn't limited to commercial organizations or products, though. We see the public sector take great strides to introduce smart cities, smart campuses, and solutions to drive municipal benefit, like safety. IDC MarketScape named AWS as the leader in IoT application platforms for smart cities earlier this year. And the University of Melbourne, the #1 university in Australia, selected AWS as their key vendor to support their smart campus initiative in early 2018. The project has provided key insights which enabled the university to maximize space utilization and resource capacity planning. It provided energy dashboards showing metrics and trend analysis and identified over $400,000 in savings to the university in 2020 alone. These insights are also being used in the Return to Campus strategy for the first quarter 2021, helping them maintain required hygiene statuses and social distancing. They established an IoT as a service platform using AWS IoT Core to integrate with IoT devices to collect and centrally store data for analytics and insights. At any point in time, they can visualize an estimated number of people in any building, as well as other information such as temperature, energy usage, and much more. As you saw, we have AWS customers and partners doing incredible things to improve business operations, create new offerings, and keep food and people safe with the help of AWS IoT. They are doing those things today, yet we are always mindful of their experience and how we can make progressing their digital journey even more seamless. This is why I'm excited to share with you our latest product enhancements and launches. More than 90% of our deliverables are the direct results of learning from the pain points of our customers and partners and turning those learnings into functionality that then help them securely build and manage IoT solutions at scale. It is a true customer-driven roadmap. It started end of 2015 with AWS IoT Core, our core connectivity service, with iRobot as the early adopter driving for scale. In 2016, we went then to the edge with AWS IoT Greengrass to support customers like Enel to collect, convey, and process data across a network of sensors and meters at over 500,000 cabins distributed across Europe. Followed in 2017 by FreeRTOS to enable the low-power devices to securely connect to the cloud, and together with partners like TI and NXP. It was then Philips who worked with us to create IoT device management in 2018 for their Health Suite digital platform to control their fleets of the medical devices and keep them healthy. The same year, we also launched AWS IoT Analytics and Device Defender, which was then recognized as the best IoT security solution at the 2019 IoT World Awards. And over the past 2 years, we doubled down on analytics and industrial use cases with IoT events and Sitewise for customers like Bayer Crop Science for their crop processing plants. And this year at reInvent 2020, we continue to expand our roadmap across all 3 areas, driven again by our customer needs. Let's start at the edge. Again, this is about how can I easily build and manage IoT device software at the edge. And our answer so far to this question has been IoT Greengrass, which extends AWS IoT onto your devices so they can act locally on the data they generate while still taking advantage of the cloud. AWS Greengrass extends the same programming model from the cloud to the edge and does this using the same security mechanisms and encryption used in the cloud with AWS IoT. It provides many useful features available at the edge depicted on the slide. And it is also updatable, so you always get the latest access to new features and security enhancements in the future. And this year, it's about a major update. I am proud to announce AWS IoT Greengrass 2.0. We rewrote the entire software stack to be JVM-based and modularized to create the most flexible edge platform to easily build, deploy, and manage device software across millions of devices. It's now completely modular. Customers can easily add or remove features by choosing which device software components are installed on their devices. AWS IoT Greengrass lets customers add capabilities to more powerful devices or remove features on constrained devices which limited memory or compute power, so customers only use the features they need. And deploy device software at scale. Customers can deploy code in the cloud or now on a local device and then deploy and manage the software on millions of heterogeneous devices, even with intermittent connectivity to the cloud. Being integrated with device management, Things Groups lets customers view deployment history and start, stop, and cancel deployments for any number of AWS IoT Greengrass devices. And finally, it's locally deployable and configurable. AWS IoT Greengrass provides customers options to build, test, and manage device software deployments locally using the Greengrass command line interface, CLI. Customers can deploy, test, and debug devices software locally with coming programming languages such as Java and Python. And all new, the AWS IoT Greengrass 2.0 core client software is now open source, making edge computing even more accessible to customers and adaptable to the hardware platform and industry requirements of their choice. Customers benefit from an open edge software environment that empowers them to develop, debug, and customize their IoT software they need on the device of their choice. Arthrex is a global medical device company and leader specialized in orthopedics. Arthrex has pioneered the field of arthroscopy and develops more than 1,000 innovative products and procedures each year. An arthroscopy, or keyhole surgery, is a minimally invasive surgical procedure on a joint in which an examination and sometimes treatment of damage is performed. They developed Synergy, the fastest growing video and integration solution in operating rooms worldwide. The Synergy product portfolio is a comprehensive set of interconnected surgical tools and technology for the operating room. Its award-winning imaging system is comprised of 4K cameras to put into that keyhole inside a body and monitor and video for the surgeon to see what's ongoing with data management. Arthrex's interest in AWS IoT Greengrass is for offline data processing, for mission-critical device communication during operations and surgeries. You don't want this to go dark during a procedure because of loss of internet connectivity. With Greengrass, Arthrex expects to have improved visibility into procedures and much better patient outcomes. Another questions we got from embedded developers, mainly at original equipment manufacturers and microcontroller vendors, is, how can I ensure my FreeRTOS libraries are maintained and secure? They want the benefit of official bug fixes and security updates in newer releases without increased maintenance cost and project risks when they try to integrate the newer release containing additional features and APIs. This is why we now offer FreeRTOS long-term support, or short LTS. FreeRTOS long-term support libraries give embedded developers at OEMs and MCU vendors the predictability and feature stability with assurance from AWS of security updates and critical bug fixes for 2 years from release. Feature stability. FreeRTOS LTS libraries are easy to integrate with applications designed for resource-constrained MCU-based devices. Security updates and critical fixes. AWS provides ongoing security and maintenance updates for LTS libraries to ensure devices meet quality standards and are secure. LTS comes with security updates and bug fixes to the FreeRTOS kernel, the IoT libraries, and AWS libraries for 2 years. Updatable with secure connectivity. FreeRTOS long-term support comes with a complete set of libraries, including IoT libraries and AWS libraries, for example, device shadows, with secure connectivity and over-the-air or short OTA update functionality. SolShare is a provider of peer-to-peer solar energy trading platforms and a pay-as-you-go solutions for low-income households and communities in Bangladesh and beyond. It provides rural end customers with a reliable supply of electricity while making sure it's affordable for people who are at the lowest echelon of the society. SolShare has developed SolBazaar, an IoT-driven trading platform which enables people to trade their excess solar energy generated by solar home systems. Consider the SolBazaar as a dynamic energy marketplace, where solar home system users come to sell their excess energy to non-solar home system users. One party earns money, and the other party finally gets to affordable electricity. SolShare uses FreeRTOS LTS on constrained MCUs for microgrid logic, connecting securely to AWS IoT and AWS IoT Core and IoT Greengrass. This will help them be more effective managing their fleets of peer-to-peer microgrid devices that are often in remote rural locations. Earlier, we talked about cellular connectivity, which is an important enabler for IoT. But what if your IoT applications require small sensors with very low battery usage and have to last, let's say, for 10 years or so, and you want them to connect over very long ranges for applications like asset tracking of goods, machinery, or even livestock? There is a wireless technology called LoRaWAN, which stands for Long Range Wide Area Network, that requires very little power. And I'm happy to announce AWS IoT Core support for LoRaWAN. AWS IoT Core for LoRaWAN is a fully managed feature enabling enterprises to connect wireless devices that use low-power, long-range, wide-area network technology without developing or operating a LoRaWAN network server themselves. It eliminates the undifferentiated development work and operational burden required to set up and manage an LNS and associated infrastructure, thus accelerates the network setup pretty much. It comes with support for the open source Gateway LNS protocol, a software called Basic Station, and a gateway qualification program that offers pre-tested gateways to connect with AWS IoT Core with a few simple steps. And of course, you can find them in the device catalog. You can choose any LoRaWAN compliant sensor device for a plug-and-play experience, reducing onboarding friction significantly. Its built-in integration automatically routes device data to AWS IoT Core Rules Engine to accelerate IoT application development. And last but not least, it offers transparent consumption-based pricing that is cost-effective at scale, expected to cut total cost in half versus a do-it-yourself or third-party service option. And there is more. We also integrated the public Amazon Sidewalk network, which uses similar technology than LoRaWAN with AWS IoT. The integration will enable device manufacturers to easily connect and manage their Sidewalk devices with AWS IoT Core. The Amazon Sidewalk network has been designed to support a range of consumer devices for use cases like locating pets or valuables, smart home security and lighting control, or remote diagnostic of appliances and tools. Most restaurants use notebooks and clipboards for compliance checks. ComplianceMate is changing that. ComplianceMate offers a solution to address a critical need for proactive food safety at restaurants. Through a combination of wireless temperature sensors, mobile technologies, and easy-to-use tools built for the modern kitchen, ComplianceMate gives you total control over food safety and compliance at stores. With real-time access to temperature data, customers can quickly identify operational deficiencies and prevent food safety mishaps before they even happen. They can also take evidence-based decisions about kitchen processes and staff training. ComplianceMate is using AWS IoT Core for LoRaWAN to connect temperature sensors in restaurants, in refrigeration and freezer units. These cold climate sensors are devices that leverage LoRaWAN. The LoRaWAN device can penetrate very thick walls of refrigeration units and can last for years without replacement, thanks to the low power consumption, which reduces the operational cost. AWS IoT Core for LoRaWAN eliminates the undifferentiated development work and operational burden required for ComplianceMate to set up and manage LoRaWAN network servers and associated infrastructure, which in turn allows them to more easily meet their goal of ensuring customer food safety while reducing the risk of food perishing. All this technology enables you and our customers to connect more and more devices. They now have to manage device fleets ranging from thousands to sometimes tens or even hundreds of millions of devices, and must configure, update, and troubleshoot these devices remotely, typically using a web application. But developing and maintaining a custom application like this for field service engineers and support engineers and technicians, it's time-consuming and resource-intensive, particularly as device fleets scale. And this is why I'm happy to announce preview of Fleet Hub for AWS IoT Device Management. Fleet Hub for AWS IoT Device Management enables you to easily create a fully managed web application so you can view and interact with your device fleets to monitor device health, respond to alarms, take remote actions, and reduce time for troubleshooting. Fleet Hub integrates with existing identity systems like AWS Single Sign-On or Active Directory and AWS Organizations for users to sign in with their corporate credentials. No need to create new logins. Deploy in minutes with no code. Administrators can create a web application without writing code, add users from their corporate directory to enable access to the web application, and grant those users privileges to manage the web applications themselves. Once deployed, you can now easily interact with device fleets. Let me show you how it looks. You can view from your preferred device anywhere. Web applications created using Fleet Hub can be easily accessed via a desktop browser, phone, or in this case, a tablet. As you see in one of the dashboards here, you can view the aggregate health metrics of your fleet, such as checking connectivity issues for, let's say, a fleet of thermostats. But you can also filter and drill down to specific devices. To investigate issues or anomalies, such as assessing the connection state or other health metrics of a specific thermostat with that fleet, you can create alarms to be notified when a health metric, for example, device temperature, falls below a certain specific threshold. And finally, you can take corrective actions. Once alerted, you can take built-in corrective actions such as deploying a firmware update or rebooting a device. Fleet Hub's seamless integration with the many AWS IoT device management features allow you to easily interact with your devices to, for example, push over-the-air updates via jobs, or open a secure tunnel to troubleshoot a device remotely. AirTice, which is the most deployed Wi-Fi mesh solutions for service providers worldwide, turned to Fleet Hub as a solution to allow them to visualize and interact with their fleets of tens of millions of devices without their team having to spend any time and resources deploying their own custom solution. Their ultimate goal is allowing each operator to securely visualize their own fleet, perform self-service updates based on specific requirements, and access real-time reporting. Let's switch gears a little bit and look at the analytics and industrial arena. Industrial customers want to manage and monitor their equipment data not only in the cloud, but also directly on the shop floor, using the same asset models and APIs and functionality they use in AWS IoT Sitewise in the cloud to help them reduce cost, support existing on-premise applications, ensure business connectivity, and comply with data residency requirements. This is why we built AWS IoT Sitewise Edge in preview today. AWS IoT Sitewise Edge is software that runs on premises at industrial sites. It makes it easy to collect, process, and monitor equipment data on premises before sending the data to the AWS cloud. Sitewise Edge is installed on local hardware such as third-party industrial computers or gateways, or on AWS Outpost and the AWS Snow family compute devices. It has consistent asset models. Once developers have used IoT Sitewise to model their equipment in the cloud, they can use the very same models with Sitewise Edge at the edge. Local data collection. Sitewise Edge includes a gateway software component that runs on popular third-party industrial gateways and reads data from on-site data aggregators or historian databases using OPC UA, Modbus TCP, and Ethernet IP protocols. The gateway software is provided as a pre-packaged AWS IoT Greengrass connector for each protocol and can be deployed on any device that can run AWS IoT Greengrass. It also comes with local data processing. With Sitewise Edge, developers can now locally process machine data first and only send relevant data to the cloud for further analysis or cross-site visualization. Having all the data processed at the edge also means it is available to the local applications without connectivity to the cloud. And once data is processed, data is routed to IoT Sitewise by default. But customers can also choose to route data directly to other AWS services such as Amazon S3 or Amazon TimeStream for storage in the industrial data lake and additional analytics. And it comes with local data monitoring. Sitewise Edge includes a local version of the Sitewise Monitoring visualization application, which is accessible through a web browser for process engineers to locally monitor real-time and historical time series asset data. It is disconnected operations capable. Since Sitewise Edge runs on-premise, local applications that use data from Sitewise Edge will continue to work even when cloud connectivity is disrupted or latency sensitivity is high. And there are more great new IoT features like, for example, the AWS IoT EduKit, a quick starter learning kit that includes hardware that you can buy on Amazon.com, just search for EduKit on Amazon.com, that you can buy there, and a guided online workshop that helps you start from simple IoT applications and add voice controls and machine learning over time. And for IoT Core, we have now Apache Kafka and VPC actions. It's a new rule action which allows customers to send data from devices connected to AWS IoT Core directly to either their self-managed or Amazon-managed Apache Kafka MSK clusters in a VPC for stream processing. And for AWS IoT Device Defender, we now have ML Detect. ML Detect automatically sets up and updates threshold for security alerts based on your device's behavior using machine learning. And you don't need machine learning experience to use this feature. AWS IoT Device Defender now also has custom metrics. Custom metrics lets you define your own specialized metrics that Device Defender should monitor for your devices, like, for example, power usage, charge levels for batteries, or details about network traffic. And last but not least, both IoT Sitewise and IoT events now have alarms. Define alarms and set out alarm notifications within minutes from the AWS IoT Sitewise console and display and organize alarm data in a customizable Sitewise Monitor web application. A company you have heard me speak about before, which uses Sitewise, is the Volkswagen Group, the world's largest automotive manufacturer. With the help of AWS, VW is transforming the automotive manufacturing industry with one of the largest Industry 4.0 projects ever undertaken to significantly improve production and logistics performance across the manufacturing plants. The heart of this project is Volkswagen's Digital Production Platform, or short DPP, which is a key lever for VW to improve performance by 30%, to be much more flexible and save billions of dollars. The DPP is a global platform that will combine data of all machines, plants and systems from their more than 120 production facilities across the world. The DPP is a multi-tenant, secure and stable platform consisting of device, data and analytics services. When it started in 2019 last year, the group started with their integration of 3 main plants. This year, an additional 10 plants from different brands like Porsche, Seat and Skoda have been connected to DPP with running use cases. And earlier this year, in July 2020, Volkswagen, together with AWS and Siemens, a key Amazon Partner Network partner in the industrial space, announced the expansion of its Industrial Cloud Initiative, which extends the DPP capabilities to a community of partners and suppliers beyond Volkswagen, to deliver an open architecture and set of services where partners can collaborate to build solutions that can also benefit their own manufacturing plants and supply chain processes. If you just take VW's 1,500 key suppliers alone, we are talking about another 30,000 industrial facilities worldwide. I highly encourage you to view other dedicated breakout sessions at reInvent this year, where you will hear from VW on the great process and progress they have been making with this initiative. Going from manufacturing cars to using them. BlackBerry is a leading provider of end-to-end mobility solutions, including automotive. BlackBerry QNX software is used by 10 out of 10 automakers, and it's inside more than 175 million vehicles on the road today. And BlackBerry QNX is partnering with AWS to provide Ivy, a new embedded software that runs inside a vehicle and integrates with AWS Cloud for provisioning, updatability, and machine learning capabilities. It will allow consistent, flexible, and secure access to sensor data for developers and applications, with OEMs retaining full ownership and control of the vehicle data. It also enables the creation of new synthetic sensors, which allows applications to be deployed at scale across fleets of cars, irrespective of the underlying differences in vehicle architectures. For example, with IVY, automakers can create a synthetic occupant sensor, leveraging in-cabin sensors such as cameras or seat sensors or sound sensors and others to determine how many occupants are in a vehicle and if they are pets, adults, or children. Automakers could then share the occupancy information via APIs with first or third-party applications to, for example, recommend the use of the child lock feature or notify a driver if a child is left alone in the vehicle in the sun, or restrict music lyrics if children are present, or offer geotagged advertisement depending on the occupants in the vehicle. And another customer that is going through the full circle, operating devices at the edge, connecting and controlling large device fleets at scale, and analyzing data for a better tomorrow is Vector, one of New Zealand's largest energy companies. And it is my pleasure and honor to introduce to you Simon Mackenzie, Group CEO, and Nikhil Ravishankar, Chief Digital Officer, who will tell you how they use AWS IoT to deliver consumers more affordable, reliable, and cleaner energy options.
Kia ora, everyone. Simon Mackenzie, Chief Executive of Vector. We're based in New Zealand, and joining me in a short while will be Nikhil Ravishankar, our Chief Digital Officer. We're really pleased to be here joining you today, and in particular our collaboration with AWS on what we see as a really exciting platform that's really going to make a huge change to the global energy market. So quickly, just a little bit about Vector. We're a listed company based in Auckland, New Zealand. We operate a portfolio of businesses in the energy sector: electricity distribution, gas distribution, fibre optics, smart meters in New Zealand and in Australia, solar battery technology across the Pacific, and a range of other businesses that really fulfill our whole focus on creating a new energy future. That's our vision, and our Symphony is known as our Symphony strategy. With regards to Symphony strategy, what it's about for us is seeing disruption and the challenges globally as a real opportunity, and in collaboration with partners such as AWS, how do we actually bring new services and solutions to customers, with customers being at the heart of our thinking and the way in which we consider our services. This is unlike what we see now, the traditional energy market kind of structure, which has been very traditional in the sense that it started with generation, and in the generation sector we saw a lot of fossil fuels. Luckily in New Zealand we have a lot of renewable energy. Then through the transmission sector, through to the distribution to reticulate that energy around cities and communities, and then obviously to customers through retailers. But this model is really out of date nowadays. It's a very traditional model. It's really a single flow from the generation to the customer. And what we see is becoming very prevalent now to deal with the challenges of the market and what customers are needing is a much more dynamic, integrated market where many of the technologies that are being deployed to deal with the challenges globally of decarbonisation, energy affordability, choice for customers, electrification of transport, and in particular, the need to actually coordinate all these solutions and provide platforms and capital efficiency to actually ensure that an energy system can actually play its part in the challenges for everyone globally, not only in New Zealand. So our collaboration with AWS is really centred on how do we actually take the foundation of this system, and one of those foundations is the information, and the information from smart meters, and then create the platforms that will enable the analysis and processing of this information to really effectively change the models that are prevalent in the market, provide the services to our customers, and obviously provide those choices to customers that are using the energy such that we can actually adopt a lot of these new technology to deal with these changes that we've talked about. I'll hand over now to Nikhil Ravichandkar, who's going to talk about the nature of our relationship with AWS. As I mentioned, we're really proud to be in collaboration with AWS through a strategic alliance to really bring a totally new framework to the use of information, to the storage of information, but more importantly, to be able to develop those products and services that will enable these edge devices to meet those challenges I talked about.
Thank you, Simon. I'll now just spend a couple moments just talking about what the New Energy Platform actually is and the types of challenges that we're trying to address with this platform. But before I start that, I think it's worth reiterating the Symphony strategy and describe that a little bit more. The core for us about the Symphony strategy is finally putting the end consumer at the center of the new energy value chain. Historically, the consumer has been a passive user of energy, and the energy systems of the current energy systems and the systems of the past have been very supply-centric. In this new world, we're no longer passive consumers of energy, but also we get to make, store, trade, share energy in ways we haven't been able to do so in the past. So the New Energy Platform is all about enabling this new future. AWS and Vector have been working together for a number of years now. We started our relationship really with hosting our metering data on the AWS cloud a number of years ago, and processing that data on AWS's cloud storage and compute services. Since then, working with another organization called Emprest, we delivered a Internet of Energy platform that really starts to integrate the emerging customer edge with the core energy system. It's a field that's commonly referred to as DERMS, or Distributed Energy Resource Management. We're now taking that heritage of collaboration a step further through this new strategic alliance, and we're developing what we call the New Energy Platform. The best way to really think about the New Energy Platform is an app store for energy-specific apps. And the first of the applications that we look to develop on the platform is what we're referring to as the Meter Information Management Platform. Today, the meter is the best representation of what's happening at the customer edge, and it's extremely important to get that data into the right parts of the value chain, such that we can create new products and services that allow customers to access more affordable, more reliable, and cleaner energy. So the New Energy Platform, or the application on the New Energy Platform, the Meter Information Management Platform, the MIP, really leverages AWS services such as Lambda, and more importantly, AWS IoT services, which is at the heart of what we're trying to leverage to develop the MIP, AWS Analytics services, and of course, the base storage and compute services that go along with that. Leveraging these services, we are flipping the model on the head, where these domains have been really application-centric, and really it's the main players in this space are large monolithic applications. We're changing the script, and we're trying to tackle this as an IoT and a big data and analytics problem. And in doing so, we are changing the absolute performance that's available, but also enable new market models such as peer-to-peer trading, or in the case of a very specific example, this application will be leveraged to help transition Australia from a 30-minute market model to a 5-minute higher frequency market model. One of the defining aspects of this collaboration, besides the services we get to access to then leverage and build the MIP and the New Energy Platform, is really the fact that we are co-developing this with Vector and AWS engineers. And a large part of the process to get us to this space was really around understanding whether there would be a strong cultural fit. And what's been incredible is the fact that both organizations have had a chance to look under the covers, and there is a lot of mindset alignment and a cultural alignment as we go down this journey. And core to all of this is two organizations that truly believe empowering the customer is the be-all and end-all in whatever sector you're operating in. So it's quite exciting for us to be part of this alliance. And we're quite excited to also announce that first of our MIP services is in production and live today. And that's for the New Zealand market at this stage, but we are quite excited to start bringing that to a much more global audience. So if you are looking for any further information on the NEP itself or the first of its applications, please feel free to contact us and we'd be more than happy to have a discussion.
Thank you, Simon and Nikhil. That was a great overview of what Vector has set out to do and achieve with the help of AWS IoT and AWS. For the past hour, I've shown you how AWS IoT is allowing customers to connect today and transform tomorrow, building better products for a better future. But there is more that sets us apart. We offer the most secure cloud and edge, so you can trust your fleets and data are secure. AWS is the most secure cloud with the most standards and compliance certification of any cloud provider. And at the edge, we use the same security mechanisms as in the cloud for data encryption and mutual authentication, and support additional industry standards like PKCS 11 to benefit from hardware-specific features like secure elements. For memory safety in FreeRTOS, we have gone beyond expected tech needs and also provide formal memory safety proof tests that run each time code is checked in. We offer automated scaling with serverless, so you only have to pay for what you use. AWS IoT is built completely serverless and multi-tenant, which means you can connect one single or 100 million devices without ever thinking about the underlying infrastructure. We removed all infrastructure management tasks for our customers, so you don't have to worry about capacity planning, clustering, sharding, cell infrastructure, etc., which gets more and more complicated the larger your fleets grow. This also means you truly only have to pay for what you use. There is no minimum fees or anything, or mandatory service usage, nor is there an instance fee that you have to pay whether you utilize the instance to its maximum or not. We also have the broadest and deepest edge-to-cloud offerings, so you can do whatever, whenever, wherever. AWS has more fully featured services and the largest global infrastructure footprint of any provider. This footprint is constantly increasing. And at the edge, AWS has the most breadth, from the smallest sensors over gateways, industrial PCs, to specialized equipment, up to dedicated AWS infrastructure at your premises. And we have unmatched experience, maturity, and reach, so you can accelerate your digital journey. Wherever you are in your journey, and no matter what approach you want to take, build yourself, contract a partner, or deploy ready-made solutions, we can help you get there with our services, partners, and solutions. The problems you haven't anticipated yet, there's a high likelihood that we have already solved them. As our CEO likes to say, there's no compression algorithm for experience. Which brings me back to you, our customers and partners. Now that you can know the state of everything and you can reason on top of that data, what problems would you solve? To learn more about AWS IoT, visit us at awsamazon.com/IoT. And if you want to see what other problems our customers and partners solve with AWS IoT, please visit any of the specialized sessions under reinvent.awsevents.com/IoT. With this, I would like to end the session by thanking my co-speakers Simon and Nikhil from Vector, as well as you, our audience, for your attention and interest in attending the session. Thank you very much, and have a great reInvent 2020.